I understand you guys recently started a music publishing company, by artists, for artists. Tell me about that. Why?
Yeah, no, well, it was Johnny Quinn's idea, really, our drummer, and it's, we just meet a lot of songwriters, as you would in 15 years, and that are struggling, or that kind of need a hand and need better representation for their songs than they're getting, and a lot of people have been sort of messed over. So we just thought that we would set up our own we set up our own record label as well to put out Ian Archer's last record, and hopefully a few more. But for the publishing, we set up Polar Publishing, which I think is going to become Bipolar. Bipolar Publishing, as in BY Polar. And they get most of the benefits and none of the kind of the holding over the hot coals that we've had in the past.
And do you feel like you're in a place now to mentor younger bands? I mean, you're not that old, but I mean, just do you feel like that's something that you want to do? Is that a give back? Is that something that feels like an imperative for you?
Yeah, I think we've been thinking about that for years. I mean, we set up a thing in Northern Ireland, in Belfast, or we're part of the team behind setting it up with the OES Centre, which is kind of a nexus for music in Belfast that there never was when Nathan was growing up there. There wasn't anywhere. So, I mean, we're always kind of thinking of ways that we can kind of contribute, because however many times music kicked us in the ass, it's also given us a life, and we don't want people to have to go through the same things that we went through at the start. If they could fast forward those 10 years that we had in any way by us giving them some advice, then, geez, that's just the bottom line.
I asked you about mentoring younger bands. You're also in the unique position to be taking advice from your elders who you tour with. I'm thinking of Elbow, but and more specifically, in particular, U2, who you've been spending some time with. What have you learned by traveling with those guys?
I mean, they are every single thing that you need to know about performing, writing, being in a band, conducting yourself. It's all in U2. You don't need to look anywhere else if you want to see the exact perfect model for being in a band. The way they treat the support band, the way they are with their crew, with their management, with the catering people, with every person in that whole gigantic operation is treated with the same respect and love and treated like family. It's like it's sort of a utopia, really.
It's a great testament to them that you feel that strongly. And what about musically?
Musically,
you learn from the music?
I mean, on stage, it's like
you must. I mean, I'm thinking Irish kids must have grown up.
Yeah,
like you're sort of living a dream, right? You're touring with U2, who you grew up, I would imagine, idolizing.
Yeah. Of course, and when you see them on stage, I mean that I learned so much in terms of like just being a front man. You have to play to the back row. You have to make the stadium as small as you possibly can. Bono's sort of watchword is always kind of intimacy. If you can just find intimacy in a place as big as a 60,000 seater stadium, then that is kind of the holy grail. If you make
they've really figured out how to do that. As have Coldplay. Yeah. It's amazing watching those guys.
You watching U2 as well. As guys said, there's 4 lessons going on stage. You pick any member of that band and watch them at a gig. You're just learning from every single one of them. And it's just an incredible thing to see. It's mind blowing. They have their own bracket where their music lives, and it's quite far above anyone else.
I know you guys are going to play for us live, and I'm happy that you've chosen to do so. Let me just ask you, this forthcoming record, it's called Up to Now, which suggests that there's an after now that's going to come. Where do you feel like you're at on the Snow Patrol journey 15 years in?
I would say, if I'm making a prediction, I would say halfway through. Music is changing, the way people get music, the way, the record companies are in wild panic, at the moment, because they nobody can put the reins on it. So we'll see what happens in the next few years, but it's our intention, it's our every intention to keep making music for.
But in the documentary, we're at the half hour.
I think we're at the half hour point. Yeah. It's what is it?
Coming up after the break.
Behind the music.
Gary tries to hang himself.
Like Buddy's meltdown. yeah, for sure.
It's well, it's a good pleasure to have you here. The current album is called 100 Million Suns. The new record up to now, the retrospective, comes out November 11th. It's got some new tunes included. What are you going to play for us?
I guess we'll see
when you walk over there. I thought you were going to play "Crack the Shutters."
We'll play "Crack the Shutters." Sure, we'll do that.
All right. Well, unless you want to play something else.
Let's do that.
Okay. All right. Snow Patrol in Studio Q. Gary Lightbody, Nathan Connolly making their way over to their guitars and positions and playing from the record 100 Million Suns, the song "Crack the Shutters," live in Studio Q.
Cool your bed warm hands down on the broken radiator, and when you lay them freezing on me, I mumble, can you wake me later? But I don't really want you to stop, and you know it so it doesn't stop you. And you run your hands from my neck to my chest. Crack the shutters open wide, I wanna bathe you in the light of day, and just watch you as the rays tangled up around your face and body. I could sit for hours finding new ways to be on each minute, 'cause the daylight seems to want you just as much as I want you. It's been minutes, it's been days, it's been all I will remember. Happy lost in your hair and the cold side of the pillow. Your hills and valleys are mapped by my intrepid fingers, and in a naked slumber I dream all this again. Crack the shutters open wide, I wanna bathe you in the light of day, and just watch you as the rays tangle up around your face and body. I could sit for hours finding new ways to be on each minute, 'cause the daylight seems to want you just as much as I want you.
Nicely done. Live in Studio Q, that's Gary Lightbody, Nathan Connolly of the band Snow Patrol performing the song "Crack the Shutters" that appears on their record 100 Million Suns. Really nice to have you guys here.
Thank you.
Thanks for making it happen. Thanks for getting up after the tough drive from Detroit, and do come back again to Canada and to Q.
Thank you. We will.
Snow Patrol, latest album is called 100 Million Suns. The new retrospective collection of songs is called Up to Now. It's out on November 11th, and they've been with me here live in Studio Q.